Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. This is a quick and dirty recording. We're just using OBS, old school. And so no face cam today, but that happens sometimes. It's okay. This is week 14. We are near the end. We got some very interesting things to talk about. We're mostly be talking about role playing. And this is just a nice introduction about role playing, but you might have noticed I use the phrase session one, and that's what we'll talk about. First, COVID has gone and mucked things up again. As you may know, even though we don't have in person classes, my my first year's classes, EP1, conversation class, they were all supposed to be in person, but COVID said, nope, we're not doing that. So we're back online, and then we need to change everything again. So schedule's all hocka-hooey. We have to make up two classes because you were away on your observations. And they need to be lecture-based. So there'll be two additional sessions. I'll put those in if I understand everything correctly. If I understand E-class and the whole infrastructure, I'm not really sure how it works, but we'll learn. But they'll be there. They'll be, the 25-minute length. They'll be there, and there'll be supplementary information. Something I want to iterate and reiterate. You've received your final project. That's the peer feedback project. That's what you're doing. There's no additional homework or tests or projects. So what you have is what you have is what you have. Now, that peer feedback project started last week, and God bless you. A lot of you haven't done anything with it, which is frustrating because I'm trying to make it easy. I'm trying to drip feed the videos you need to watch because each group's going to watch 3 or 4 or 5 videos, and I'm trying to make it easy. But gosh darn it, a lot of you, you're not making it easy to make it easy. So that's a frustration. I know you're busy. Humans are busy and lazy. That's the life. But it is a frustration. I was trying to keep things as stress-free as possible, and it ain't working out that way. But c'est la vie. We have no test either, so you just have the one thing. Just go on Discord and chat with each other. That's all you need to do. I'm going to send that on E-class as well. With that, let's go into role-playing, acting. And this is one of the great staples of EFL, ESL, ELL. And role plays we use them to allow students to practice speaking in a contrived conversational situation, build confidence, build fluency. We can see how they do, assess their progress, and basically utilize their theory into practice. They're putting what they learned into an actual situation. And so we often use role-playing to help set up a particular conversation point, a grammar point. So we set up a situation where they must use a particular grammar point. Simple past tense, future with going to, infinitives. So when we set up our role-playing situations, it's important that we set them up in such a way that some point of communication, some point of content, of functional language is being absolutely used. Something has to be done in that regards. Also, though, there's the fluency side of interaction, things interrupting, asking for assistance, making small talk. In that regards, role playing is very nice because we can contrive a situation, even though it's not real. Obviously, it's not reality. It is something we can do and have a bit of fun with, and get the students to use the language outside of a worksheet and the artificiality of lessons. So there's different ways we can set things up. We'll go in more detail as we go along. This is today's the overview of it. So verbal instructions, written instructions, secret messages, which we'll get into. Cue cards, those are nice, depending on the student's levels. There are 4 basic types of role plays, situations of not scenarios, but 4 different categories of role playing. First, we'll talk about is the conflict. So this is where there's a problem, and the participants are trying to fix the problem. So conflict is a problem. It can be between the two people, or it's an outside conflict. It's a situation that will need fixing. This would include things attempting to change an airline reservation, or asking a noisy neighbor to turn down their stereo. Something where there's a problem and you need to fix the problem. These are good to test, especially if there's a time limit. You can do that as well. And you can't do this with absolute beginners, but as students gain more confidence and maturity with older students, it's something that we can work with. It's something we can work around with conflict. Cooperative is, of course, the opposite of conflict. So in conflict, there's a problem, but in cooperative, there's no problem. Everyone's working together for a good thing. We can see this planning a farewell party for the teacher, deciding the food for a party, brainstorming ways to attract tourists to a local attractions. We've done kind of this. These are ways of working together as a group and getting the more apprehensive students to participate and build relationships within the student group, which is in English, and that's always a nice thing. Working together for common good, cooperation. That's nice. Not everything needs to be competitive in our life. Information gap. This is a very common, well, these are all common ones, but anyways, information gap means that you are filling in holes. You're answering questions based on a lack of knowledge. So, for example, we have a customs officer. You need to ask questions. You need to interrogate a murder suspect. That's a fun one. I've had fun with students on that. And that some students are police investigators, and some students are suspects, and the police investigators have very limited knowledge, and they need to find the murderer, and the other students are the suspects, and each of them has a little bit of knowledge. They don't know who the murderer is, well, all but one, but the police need to find the murderer by putting together the information and asking each person, each witness, about what happened, and they can piece together the puzzle and find it. That's that. If you have older students who can handle that, that's a very fun puzzle role play you can play. So these are the informational gap ones. Can be really fun, more complicated situations, but they do take time to prepare. And if your students are immature or they can't handle a more complex game, or their language level is just too low, then it's more difficult. Task-based, basically, if you think of the classical role playing of ordering, ordering a meal at a restaurant, or getting a phone number from a hotel, giving directions. These are the most common, I think, in a lot of elementary school textbooks, and these provide practice for what we call survival skills, survival language skills, and they're an excellent way for them to practice the specific target language in the book, and it's very easy to direct, proctor, moderate, and control the situation. Information gap is much more free-flowing, something you do with advanced students as a synthesis activity at the end of a project, of a unit, of what have you, not as a small activity. The information gaps can be very large and complex, so they take time. Task-based, you can do it lickety-split, no problem. Role-playing can be a lot of fun. It can also be daunting and tiring, depending on how you are and how the students are. We'll get into this more and more later. But this is the most general and most pleasant way I could think of gently introducing role-playing. And it's something that we can take about. Now, when we're creating our own role-play scenario to use with our students, we need to ask questions of ourselves. Number one, what's being practiced? What's being used? So what kinds of language structures, like grammar points or vocabulary, do you want the students to use? And very importantly, is your role play going to use the target language naturally? If the answer is no, then you need to come up with a different role play. So the students must be naturally compelled to use the target language when they role play. That's the point. They need to practice the target language. So make sure that you contrive a good role play scenario for them to naturally use it. If they can complete the role play without using the target language, then that's a problem. That's bad. And the second question, have you visualized what you want to see in the role play? How should it go? If you can't answer that question either of what the example role play is, then you need to sit down, write it out, and figure out where your role play starts, the middle, and the end, and figure out how to make it work. Because if you don't know, then how can students know where to take it? These aren't adults improving. These are elementary school students we're supposed to deal with. Next, do the students have the language and communication skills, social skills to do the role play? If you're working with third graders, they can't do a murder mystery. Is a murder mystery appropriate for third graders as well? Probably not. Sixth graders, they can handle it. Third graders, they're God bless them, they're just two little sweet little angels. They can't handle it. Especially the murder mystery. It's a complex situation with complicated directions and roles and different objectives. The murderer does not want to be found in the murder mystery, so it is something to bear in mind. And people, when I played it with my advanced students, we had secret roles where people had secrets they didn't want to find out. They didn't want others to find out, so they had to hide some information, but they wanted to embarrass other people, so they had lots of different rules for each person. And that's quite complicated, and so you need advanced students with language skills and social skills, communication skills to handle that. Also, instructions. We practiced this before. Can you make your instructions clearly so that everybody can do what they're supposed to do? That's also important. Is the situation appropriate for your age, the level, the status of your students? Is, just like with anything we make, any activity, any lesson, is it good for your students? Knowing their grade level, their maturity level, the group dynamic that you have with them. And so you need to make sure that you're not doing something that's inappropriate in any situation, but you think is cool, or that it's just something they're not going to like. Not everyone's going to like a Frozen role play. That's for babies, according to third graders, but sixth graders might have some fun with it. And then lastly, what do you want them to take away at the end of the role play, at the end of the exercise, at the end of the activity? What are they going to remember? And how can you reinforce this through feedback and giving positive reinforcement or reinforcement, correction? What is the learning objective, the language objective for your role play? Good. All right. See, not very long at all. We shouldn't get in the way of our students producing language. Role plays don't need to be overtly serious. If a kid's ad-libbing, making up their own language, well, not their own language, rather, their own dialogue, that's good. You could have a set conversation, but that's not very fun. If the students can make their own lines, then it can be a fun way for them to simulate a more natural conversation and produce language and have a bit of fun with it as well. And that's really what we're all about. In the future sessions, we'll look at some example situations and how we could play them, how can we roll with them. And that's all very fine and good. I need to fuss at you for a while longer, though, about, see, that's all, it's not even there. First, very briefly, here's EP. I think we have some confusion, peer feedback. Looking at this, 0 written notes. Nobody submitted anything. So please, you can attach files on your notes. Attach for your peer feedback project. So if you're not looking at the screen, look at the screen right now. For your peer feedback project, you need to attach the file as a comment. And let's bring it up. We'll walk through this whole thing because, God, we're having a heap of trouble. All right. You have this. You have your you have this. You've hopefully downloaded it. You type in stuff, you type in your feedback, then you're going to attach the downloaded file to eClass, and then I can see it. And then your group will move on to the next video. Just today, November 25th, I have given each group their second videos. Now, not every group has actually discussed. Some groups have, some groups have not. Get started on this. Don't make it too hard on yourself. This is annoying that I give extra time and nobody does a ding-dang thing with it. I don't want to hear about how stressed you are when I try to make it easy and nothing happens. God bless you. It's a bit frustrating. So get it done and start talking to each other. Watch the videos and help each other. All right. And it's not just one. It wasn't just one section. I don't know what's all going on in this world, but the other section as well has problems. We got one person, one group, pretty nice. And look, ja-jang, they've got it. That's what I want. They have attached a file as a comment. Boom, 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 boom. Just happened 2 hours ago. Perfection, as a sort. But this is what we need from every group, for every video. Every paper is going to have a different lead writer, a different discussion leader. So you need to make sure that you're staying active on this so we can get things done before December. Well, not before. Well, before the end of the semester. It would be very nice to do that. So please make sure you take care of those things. And I don't want to have to yell and scream and all those other things. So please take care of that. All right. With that, though, it is, well, we'll see how it goes. There'll be the next session. I don't know. I'll put it in. There'll be other sessions, where I talk about different role-playing situations, scenarios, and then we'll see how it goes. I don't really know. But we'll figure it out. Nothing too stressful for this section. But you do need to get started with your peer feedback. It is a bit ridiculous that it hasn't been started that way. So we'll see. Anyways, I hope you have a good time. If you have any problems, please comment, send a message over eClass, an email, or over Discord as well. I am there. I get a happy little message when I get things. Comes in over this way. Boom, 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 boom. So if you have problems, please talk to me and we can deal with it. But our lack of work so far, a lot of you are online though, that's nice, is troublesome. So please make sure it gets taken care of. All right. That's all I have to say. It does need to last until 25 minutes. God bless the university. But that's all we have. I hope you have an excellent, I hope you get everything done, and I hope you stay healthy. So, thank you, and good night.